Red Stripe, Premier League. I miss one bag of gold medal pan me now. Red Stripe alone champion boy go. Pan up pour them a singing anthem. Red Stripe, watcha. Man shall I better forward boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal winner run from boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy now. Pop down we run the marathon boy. Them wish I never made it that the champion boy fan. Now man I done a songsters boy. Red Stripe Premier League champion boy.
It's lights, camera, and action for the rebirth of the Red Stripe Premier League football action on Mondays on the home of champions. We're in Kingston at the Jerusalem Stadium to watch Waterhouse, the current leaders and two-time champions, up against sixth-place Cavalier in a battle that the fans are expected to enjoy here at a complex that has enjoyed tremendous battles over the years between these two teams. So it's Cavalier visiting the Waterhouse team. As we said, Waterhouse leaders at the moment, best team in the league at the moment in attack and in defence. They're on top of their game at the moment. And what a way, George Davis, for us to return to Red Stripe Premier League football on Mondays. A battle between two teams that have always given us good, exciting football and goals.
Yeah, guaranteed goals this fixture does. Look, the RSPL is like that young wife who left the household lands because she felt that, she could have done better. She went to seek after better. Better was not forthcoming, and she's returned into the open arms of her husband, who says, honey, you should never have left. It's good to have repaired this relationship. The RSPL is back where it belongs, and we hope to undo the difficulties of the early weeks of this campaign and again lay out a world-class product for the excitement and the enjoyment of the fans and stakeholders concerned.
That's for sure. This is a 9th round fixture. We have had 4 of the games already. This is game 5. Game 6 will be played later on this week. But we've had a lot of happenings in Red Stripe Premier League football since we last saw you on screen back in April when we covered the final. A couple of the stories: Montego Bay United and Reno, of course, relegated. Malines and Veer, two teams up to the top flight.
Yeah, Malines flying. You must congratulate them for the start. They made a blistering start to the campaign, have given themselves some cushion for the tough weeks that have come ahead. Perhaps the tough weeks have come early because they've dropped points in their last 2 games. And those aren't the only changes, because there are coaching changes as well. Some ever-presents not present anymore. Jerome Waite is a part of the furniture where Red Stripe Premier League football is concerned. He's no longer at Arnott Gardens. Shavar Thomas, the back-to-back title-winning coach, has left Portmore United, gone to the Turks and Caicos Islands. Donovan Duki no longer leading the project at Mount Pleasant, and Andrew Price, who is like the bread to Boys Town's butter at various levels of football in Jamaica, no longer at Boys Town. He's gone to Central Jamaica, Clarendon to be precise, to take charge of Mike Henry's humble land.
That's right, and that Veer team that we spoke of, it's actually the Jamalco team that played 3 seasons ago. They now have a name change, problems for them. Jamalco were relegated 3 seasons ago, and Veer at the moment in the relegation zone.
Yeah, it's almost a case of deja vu. Maybe their project wasn't expected to have fallen off the rails so early, but guess what? It's a very long campaign. It's 33 games. You can't, if you're going to make mistakes, it's the first round. Yeah. Usually teams use the first round to fine-tune, and there are going to be a lot of difficulties. So don't pay too much attention. If you're in the second round and you're faltering, it's time to panic.
Yeah, that's for sure, because that's when you're getting to the halfway stage. So Malines and Veer, the two new teams up in the top flight, winning the qualifying series this past summer with Wadada, the former Premier League champions, finishing 3rd in those playoffs. Sunday's results: Dunbeholden, second time in the season, second time performers. Dunbeholden 1-0 over UWI. Humberland getting a 2-1 victory over Malines, second straight loss for Malines, who had gone 6 wins in a row. Veer 1-1 with Arnott Gardens, and Harbourview getting a result against Tivoli Gardens.
Yeah, Tivoli Gardens have had a very, very ordinary start to the campaign. Harbourview have also been hot and cold, but they would have loved those 3 points on Sunday. This means rather that the table looks like this with 2 games to go in the round. Firehouse on top on 19 points. They have a plus 13 goal difference, Lance, because they've scored a lot of goals so far this campaign. The top 6 completed by Malines, Harbourview, Humberland, Arnott Gardens, and the Cavalier in that order. Mount Pleasant on the coattails of those in the top 6, Dunbeholden. But look where Portmore United is. Yes, you can have a soft start, but after 8 games, Portmore United has no business being with the chaff in the league.
I guess they're like Manchester United, George.
Manchester United are 7th, so they're better off than Portmore United.
They weren't 7th a week ago, George, but go ahead.
Well, they are 7th now. The UWI are rooted to the bottom of the league, and that's a surprise for me, because the sounds I was hearing out of the UWI camp in pre-season land suggested that they had a squad that could fight. And yeah, it's not a fighting squad so far. It's a pussycat squad so far this season for the UWI.
Problems there for UWI and fair bottom of the table. Waterhouse and Cavalier met 5 times last year. We're looking there at the last 2 results they had, with Waterhouse winning both of them. Those were the semi-final playoffs. There were 2 Cavalier wins earlier on in the season and a draw as well. Problem for Cavalier last year is that the 2 times they decided or accepted the
And so, look, you can forget about those games. If you go by the regular season form, the main thing for this fixture, where the neutrals are concerned, is that this fixture gives goals. People watch football to see goals being scored, and I'm pretty certain that they're going to be goals tonight.
Yeah, I would think so as well. Pretty cool night here as the Waterhouse fans are filing in to watch their team on show. Presently, the number 1 team statistically in attack, number 1 team statistically in defense. They would have to be favorites tonight.
Yeah, look, if they win, they go further atop the table. They're there on goal difference, but it's solid. Very impressed with how Marcel Gale had this team clicking like clockwork last season, and they brought last season's form into the campaign, and it helps significantly, Lance, that they started their season so early, and they have that chemistry between them among the boys and among the various units on the field that most teams are still groping for.
That's absolutely correct, and they did have the benefit of having CONCACAF Champions League matches in August and September, so they had to be sharp for those, so it ran straight into the Premier League. They're undefeated at home at Jerusalem here this Waterhouse team. Cavalier, they're the visiting team. They have been known to come to Jerusalem here and win over Waterhouse, so they know how to get that done. But they'll have to be solid and they'll have to execute well tonight.
Yeah, Cavalier known for the transition, the speed in transition. When you lose that ball, then the Cavalier players attack, whether it's Marshall picking up the dribble or Chevron Messi Marsh or Nicholas Hamilton. They are fast as bats, those boys, and their use of the football in those transitions, very, very, very awesome indeed. And that is what they've used to undo teams in the past. Mind you, they're not as sharp at this stage of the season as they were at this stage of the season last year or even the year before, because they started their campaign late and the fitness was an issue. And of course, with the dislocation of so many players being lost to overseas clubs and new players coming in, it takes a while for that to bed in. But I'm telling you, this Cavalier team, by the time they find their best stride, when I find my best voice, Lance, they'll be flying.
Yeah, that's for sure. And conversely, as you talk about the start that Cavalier have had, Waterhouse have had a completely different start from what we've seen in the past couple of years. Remember, 2 years ago, they were winless in their first 6 matches, including a 5-0 loss to Portmore, which cost their coach the job, Admiral Bailey. And then last year, they were not that impressive either. I think they'd been pretty much the same position that they are. They had, I think, 10 points after 8 matches last year, and certainly not the sort of form they have shown here at the start of this season.
Let me steal some time as we go to the promos. Teams always, well, some teams get a purple patch. This is Waterhouse's purple patch. This is the third season of a very good period in the club's recent history. They must deliver a championship now, because it's not going to be this good forever.
Yeah, that's for sure. So Waterhouse beaten finalists last year, beaten finalists the year before. The fans are expecting another run at the championship, and this time they're not expected to falter. This is Sportsmax, the home of champions. Lots of global, international, top quality sports on the channel.
Yeah, the NBA is on Sportsmax, on your home of champions. The Hawks and the Heat battle Thursday, 6 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern Caribbean time on Sportsmax. And then the Mavericks and the Nuggets. This could be a good mashup. 8:30 p.m., 9:30 p.m. ECT on Sportsmax, Eastern Caribbean time, I remind you. Then Spain's La Liga, Espanyol at home to Valencia, live Saturday, 7 a.m., 8 a.m. Eastern Caribbean time. That's Sportsmax 2. And then Barcelona and Levante, 10 a.m., 11 a.m. ECT, Sportsmax 2. That's a live game. What about the UEFA Champions League, Lance?
Well, the Real Madrid team will be in action. The former champions, they'll be at home to Galatasaray. That's on Wednesday, the 6th of November. That's a 2:45 kickoff, 3:45 Eastern Caribbean time. So UEFA Champions League action among the proliferation of high-quality sports coming up on the home of champions in the coming weeks. Tonight, though, the start of the 2019-2020 Red Stripe Premier League coverage on Sportsmax, the home of the champions. Portmore are the defending champions. They have a midweek match later on this week because they were idle this weekend. They actually traveled Portmore to the USA for a friendly international. So the Waterhouse team, there's big Sean Law's central defender warming up with his team as we are getting close to the kickoff. Waterhouse against Cavalier at Drewsland on Sportsmax, the home of champions.
It's good to be back.
He keeps battling, falling forward, knocks him again. Buck Crawford on top of the world.
It's not just sports. Sportsmax is your production house for live entertainment broadcast. Contact production at sportsmax.tv today.
Another knockdown score.
Moderate temperatures here at the Jerusalem Stadium in St. Andrew, Jamaica for Red Stripe football Mondays tonight. 28 degrees Celsius at the moment. Not much chance of rain, fairly humid, and just a slight wind here under the night skies. Waterhouse, the home team, founded in 1968. They were runners-up last year, runners-up the year before as well. Twice champions back in 1998 and 2006. So they have gone 12, 13 years now without a title, and their fans are getting impatient.
Yeah, I was reminiscing with a long-standing fan earlier, Lance, about that 1998 team. Damien Powell, Leo Horton, Hugh Bingy Blair, Kevin Lamy. So many outstanding players who really made this team what it is.
There's Stephen Williams. He's currently the leading scorer for this Waterhouse team with 5 goals. Already doubled the number of goals he got last year, so he is fit and injury-free this year and looking to have a solid season. Actually a Premier League winner with Portmore back in 2012.
Yeah, used sparingly at times last season by Waterhouse. Good to see him taking a leading role where goal scoring is concerned. And you suspect a lot will depend on him this season to get Waterhouse those goals.
Yeah, Kenroy Howell, solid player, very, very skillful, and a good goal scorer as well. Howell was bettered only by Tremaine Stewart among the top scorers for Waterhouse last year. Good dribbling skills. And Damian Gordon, the assistant coach of Waterhouse, spoke to George Davis before match time.
Coach, you are top of the league. You are scoring plenty goals. Everything seems to be going right for Waterhouse right now, but Cavalier always give you a good game on your home patch. What are your expectations?
The expectation is pretty much the same. We're at home. We expect to play positive football. As you know, we haven't lost any game here since season, so we expect to keep that up.
Cavalier, as I noted, always play well here. They always get goals here. Any particular plan to ensure that you start with a clean sheet?
Obviously, this season we don't concede a lot this season. Haven't been except the last game where we conceded 3 goals. But all in all, we have been good, comfortable at the back. Tonight we have Chambers in goal, National invited, so we expect his strength as well.
You started the season a long time ago, so it's been a long campaign for Waterhouse. Does that bring fatigue into play, or it just means that the players are far advanced in terms of their chemistry than other units in this RSPL?
Yes, I would agree with that in terms of the chemistry, because this bunch have been playing for some time now. And yes, we have started the season a little bit earlier than some other teams, so the chemistry is there and it is flowing. So that's the reason why we expect a positive result tonight.
Over the course of the season, well, it's a long season, so you have to set small targets, milestones. In terms of what the immediate target is for the next few games, what is it that the Waterhouse team has in mind?
To be honest, the target is the next game, and this is the next game. So we have to focus on that as a unit and as a club. So we want to stray a little bit further from the 3 points, and that is tonight.
We saw Stephen Williams in previous seasons playing as a midfielder, providing goals for strikers. Now he's the main man. What accounts for his transformation? How is the team playing to his strengths so far this season?
The team has been backing him, to tell you the truth. Even though some games he's off, but the team is behind him. So we expect that tonight as well. And he's a good player. He's expressing himself, obviously, up front. And so we encourage that as a unit. So we expect him to do well tonight as well.
Final question. 2 near misses for you in recent seasons. Is this the year when Waterhouse breaks the drought, you think?
I think so. Liverpool went to the last Champions League final. They lost that. And even the coach, club, he has been losing finals. So you have to keep going and going and going until eventually you succeed. And we expect to do that this year.
Damian Gordon there, assistant coach at the Waterhouse team. They're up against the Cavalier team that has provided huge competition for them in the recent past. Only 1 title for Cavalier in their history. That was way back in 1981. They reached the playoffs twice in the past 2 years, so this is a good building team.
Yeah, Chevron Marsh is their heartbeat. He's the creative spark in this team. Excellent running with the ball. A player who attracted national attention some seasons ago, but has gone off the boil, so to speak. Still very dangerous at this Premier League level, and on the transition, he's usually the one who first gets that pass when Cavalier are in transition, and when he sets off running, has the ability to go all the way, beating the men in his path, or he can bring his teammates into play. Very, very dangerous, and he dovetails so well with Alex Marshall, the former St. George's College striker.
That's right, 21 years old now, and he was the leading scorer for the Cavalier team last year with 11 goals, and he is looking to have a good night here, along with his attacking partners Marsh and Hamilton, whose speed expects a lot from.
We have MHM tonight. Three of them is getting back into some form and some form of fitness. So we love to play at Waterhouse. So we're always happy when they come here, and maybe that's the reason.
They are flying though. They've scored so many goals so far in this campaign. They started early, so their chemistry is right. You're not fearing them though, I don't think.
Not at all. I can't say we're at our best, but with those three attacking players that we have, and I think we're still the best transition attacking team in Jamaica, we always have a chance.
I remember speaking to you on the sidelines maybe about 2 weeks into the new season, and you said you needed about 3 more weeks to get to optimum fitness. Are you there yet?
Not there yet, because injuries have plagued us, but I think we're slowly getting there. In the last 2 games we have played two of the better teams at the Leader and Mount Pleasant, and we have done very well. We haven't been defeated over those 2 games, so we expect that positive to continue.
Your defending is not usually what it would be at this stage of the season, but perhaps that can be accounted for in the general low level of fitness that the team started the campaign with. What plans have you put in place to ensure that defensively you get tighter?
Oh, definitely. Our best defender, Kama, is back. He's not up to full fitness, but we have him in the back line. And I must say that this is one of the occasions we're up to 17 players today. Usually we have 15 or 16. So we're getting there slowly. We're back to our full contingent almost. And that gives me a lot of options to choose from, different from when we just have a handful of players.
You've been credited for having young, progressive players. These players are a season older, a season wiser. Do you think, let me ask it this way, how will that manifest in their play individually and collectively, you think, this greater level of experience at this level?
No, actually, our team is much more inexperienced this year. We only have 4 players who have played for the club more than 2 years, or who have played Premier League more than 2 years. So all the players have played either last year or this year. And we're just waiting on the Manning Cup and the Costa Cup to finish to carry in another 7 players. So the truth is we are still young, but that's our story. We believe in giving young players a chance, and we'll continue to do so. When it comes for the stretch drive in January, we'll think about trying to win the cup, but up until say the end of January, we'll still be looking at the best combinations, looking at the best players, and giving youngsters a chance to rack up some minutes.
The educated critics, Rudolph, say Cavalier plays well, but at the business end of the season, they often seem a little bit jaded at that time. If you take that criticism on, do you think that you'll be able to fix that this term? Well,
actually, the last season, I thought the last semi-finals is my fault totally. I blame nobody except myself. I miscalculated what I was up against, and then the game didn't go for us. So I take full blame. And yes, I'm a very competitive person, even with my demeanor. So don't be fooled. I will be looking at it, and we'll come back harder this time.
One bag of gold medal pan me now. Red stripe alone champion boy go. Pan a pour them a singing anthem. Red stripe, watch out. Man shall I make a forward boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy score. Every goal winner run from boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy now. Back down we run him all up and boy. The Red stripe Premier League champion boy. Yeah yo. Now man I don't a songsters boy. Red stripe Premier League champion boy.
Live at the Jerusalem Stadium here for Red Stripe Football Mondays. We are at the Waterhouse home ground. They are getting ready to battle Cavalier, who are 6th in the table at the moment. Waterhouse, the #1 team in the land at the moment, after finishing runners-up last year and runners-up the year before. They're twice champions, this Waterhouse team, but no titles since 2006. Their first coming in 1998. Cavalier were champions way back in 1981, when I was but a teenager. Cavalier looking to put their hands on the championship once more.
Yeah, what about some finalists? What are they saying about this game tonight? Let's hear it.
Hello, good night. This is my agent Buckley. The core we have product tonight at 3-1. Last week we get beaten last week by Mount Pleasant, and Mount Pleasant beat Cavalier, so we have to dominate it tonight and do a thing. Yeah, them one I thought straight.
Good night. My name is Jeremy. I've been supporting Cavaliers for about 4 seasons now. I'm the chef of Cavaliers. Yeah, and the prediction tonight is 3-1 Cavaliers. Yeah, I'll just come at Waterhouse and get a good game. So I predict the same tonight. 3-1 Cavaliers.
My name is Arthur Chazu. Support Waterhouse for the past 40 years. You understand? Tonight game, I hope to win by 3-0. Yeah. Why? Why? Because we beat them in a stadium 3-0. Yeah. And we are doing it again tonight.
Alright,
You're right. It was a 3-0 on aggregate, 2-0 and 1-0. So they did beat them 3-0. Waterhouse over Cavalier. The teams are getting ready to take the field, and there are some fans in the stands getting ready to watch what we expect to be a good, competitive, exciting match tonight. That's the kind of fixture we normally get when Cavalier take on Waterhouse here at Jerusalem.
Yeah, let me talk about the surface though, Lance, because that's going to be very important. And the part of the reason why this fixture guarantees goals, especially here at Jerusalem, is because of the quality of the surface. These are two ball-playing teams. Cavalier, deadly on the transition. And when you pick up that ball in the counter-attack and you're running forward as the ball carrier, you want to know that you don't have to worry about the ball bobbling all over. And Cavalier have the benefit of that, which is why they love to come here to Waterhouse, even when other teams are daunted by the support when the stadium is full. Cavalier love playing here because the surface is good. And guess what, Lance? The home team love it as well because they have their own ball handlers in their 11.
Yeah, quite a few of them, in fact. O'Shea Nation will be the man with a whistle tonight. Waterhouse in their yellow and blue, and Cavalier in their predominantly white outfit. The last 11 meetings for these two teams has seen Cavalier winning 3, Waterhouse winning 3, and 5 drawn results. So you couldn't get a more even matchup than so the players have their game faces on, and Siobhan Marsh, the Cavalier captain, leading the introductions at the moment. First to the officials. There's Nicholas Hamilton, Rankin, Kyle Ming. One of the teenagers on the field tonight, Kyle Ming, a former Bridgeport standout captain and central defender. And here's your Waterhouse team now meeting the match officials. So these two teams, George, know what each other has to offer. We spoke continuously about the transition game that the Cavalier team displays, sometimes unstoppable. Waterhouse will have to guard against that tonight.
Oh yes, Cavalier have pace to burn, and in the form of Siobhan Marsh and Nicholas Hamilton, these guys are live wires, and defenders in one-on-one situations with them are always worried because they have so much pace, and they're very good dribblers, especially Marsh. As we said, Marsh invited to the national setup about 3 seasons ago, but not the same player, it would seem, from that perspective, as one that catches the eye of the national selection. But if he had that potential in the first place, it is an indicator of his quality, and he's been a good player at Premier League level, to be fair.
There's the Waterhouse lineup here, has a very familiar look about it, a nucleus of players that have been together for several years. But look at the number 22 bottom of your screen, Colorado Murray, the transfer from Tivoli Gardens, joint top scorer for the season last year, along with Javon East and Tremaine Campbell with 12 goals each. So Tremaine Stewart and Colorado Murray, two of the top scorers last year, are in one team tonight.
Absolutely so, and Colorado Murray is the spearhead of that attack. Stephen Williams and Andre Fletcher behind him. Then Tremaine Stewart and Kenroy Howell. Those are the ball handlers. And the policeman in the midfield is Keith Simpson in front of a flat back four. Ricardo Thomas on the left is an ever-present. So are the two centre halves, Finlayson and Laws. Denisa Simpson replaces Mark Miller on the right-hand flank. The man with the Beckham-esque crosses. He's not in the selection tonight.
Yeah, Mark Miller, I think, had more assists than any other player in the Premier League last year, somewhere in the teens. The Cavalier team has Mark Bryan in goal. There's Kyle Mill, the 19-year-old right back. There's DePaz joining Kamoy Simpson at central defence. Gadale Irving will be in the left back position. But again, we speak of the MHM that coach Speed has spoken about. It's Hamilton, Marshall and Marsh, and those are the men along with Orlando Brown that will be carrying the attack for Cavalier.
Yeah, Alex Marshall, well, he's a false nine, that's for sure. He's not a traditional number nine, doesn't have the size to play that, and doesn't play that way, doesn't play well with his back to goal. He'll be trying to pull wide as possible and allow Chevron Marsh to push in into the central striking area, or even Nicholas Hamilton from that deep lying position. 4-2-3-1 is what Rudolph Speed says he's asking his team to play from the start.
So Monday Night Football having a slight change in the traditional 8:35 kickoff. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff local time, and there's O'Shane Nation, the man with the whistle, and he's getting ready to have this one started. Waterhouse in control early. Oh, but giving the ball away. Waterhouse will want to settle early here against a Cavalier team that is pretty much a rhythm team. If Cavalier starts to get their rhythm and knock the ball around, they develop the confidence to hurt you.
Yeah, I'm keen to see how Keith Simpson plays in this game. He's the Waterhouse captain wearing number 59. 2 seasons ago, I was rather critical of him as we catch a shot of Marcel Gale. But, you know, when a player plays badly in your eyes as an analyst, but the coach keeps him in the team, it's because of some latent quality, some quality that the coach knows he has, and it's praying for him to show that. Oh, he showed that last season as because he was one of the outstanding midfielders in the entire RSPL. Yeah,
Keith Simpson, and he tends to come good towards the playoff rounds when it becomes really important.
Big game player.
There's Rudolph Speed, technical director for the Cavalier team, a man crediting with giving young players opportunities at the top flight. So many teenagers have emerged from this Cavalier setup in the Red Stripe Premier League. Pretty young team, these. There's Marshall on the ball, just 21 years old Marshall. Hustled off the ball. The two Waterhouse central defenders are pretty big men, Sean Laws and Nikolai Finlayson. Finlayson, a 17-year veteran in the Premier League. And there's Big Laws. A real massive physical specimen. Denison Simpson forcing the ball down the right side. Simpson, a former Kingston College standout, played on their winning Walker Cup team back in 2016. Denilson Simpson gets a start tonight instead of the regular right back for Waterhouse, Mark Miller, who is not on the roster tonight.
Yeah, Miller, the best crosser of the ball in the Premier League by far. And Waterhouse will miss his contribution, but it's a very long campaign. They'll have the benefit of his services, I'm sure, pretty soon.
Cavalier trying to get their passing game going. This is how their coach, Speed, likes to see them play. Doesn't want them wasting the ball. Simpson had some injury issues. Back in business now. Long ball over to the right. Hamilton's first touch not as good as it needed to be, so he gives up possession to Waterhouse.
Yeah, and he wasn't anticipating the pass. That pass caught him flat-footed. He was standing and then realized the ball was coming to him and he ran. Not alert from Nicholas Hamilton.
Marshall. Finlayson putting the pressure on. Rankin.
Offside.
Your coach Speed would get a little frustrated at the number of times Hamilton is caught in the offside position.
Filippo Inzaghi, Mark II, the former Juventus and Italy striker, and the AC Milan.
Just putting some pressure there on Fletcher. I think it was going down the right side.
It will be a keen battle as between number 10 for Cavalier, Messi Marsh, and number 13 for Waterhouse, Ricardo Thomas. Both players very, very quick. And Thomas will fancy his chances if he's isolated by Marsh.
Hamilton. Marshall. Thomas gets there with a clearance. Hamilton can get a strike, and well blocked by Ricardo Thomas,
who hurt himself in the process.
Yeah, he flung himself in front of that effort. And Hamilton apologetic there, maybe thinking he should have got the shot off a bit quicker.
Yeah, Marshall gets it on his right foot, doesn't want anything to do with it on the right, though he's very left-footed. Hamilton trying to work the space. Very good block from the left back, who found himself in a central defending position.
Yeah, good covering there by the Waterhouse defender. Just closing up and providing a bit of a clutter there in the central defensive zone to nullify these free-flowing Cavalier attacking men. Irving does well. There's Williams. Has a lot of pace, Williams. Simpson gets in the way.
You spoke of the injury he got. That was in the playoffs last year. A nasty injury. Very, very happy I am to see him back, Kamal Simpson.
Yeah, very, very solid central defender for Cavalier. And by the way, I've been having some defensive problems so far this year, Cavalier.
Without him, because he's only just returned.
Yeah, 12 goals already conceded Cavalier this season. Only UWI have conceded more goals than they have, so they're second worst defensively so far this season, this Cavalier team.
I had a look at them against Humberland early in the campaign, and to show you how different the team was, relatively poor by Cavalier standards, their best playmaker was their right back, Jamar Purcell.
Yeah. Whistle. It's Irving down hurt. Now, I think they were the second best defensive team, Cavalier, last year. There's the injury to Irving, conceding 24 goals for the entire season. Only Mount Pleasant had conceded fewer, and to think that they've reached half that total already, and not even 1/3 through the season. Statistically, their defensive performance this year below what we saw of them last year.
Quite.
Just a little bit too much weight on that pass.
Fitness a foul. And having some choice words for that little kick out.
Yeah, very late there from Irving. So neither of these two teams yet finding their rhythm. Two teams that on their best day offer attractive, free-flowing, attacking football for their fans.
I can tell you this though, this start by Cavalier is unusual. Usually it's a high-octane start, but guess what? The fitness of the team, not optimum.
Hamilton. Oh, Ranking almost squeezing through there, but Howell coming back doing some good defensive work there, just not allowing Ranking any comfort on the ball.
I thought Ranking's touch was bad, but it was an excellent touch from Kenroy Howell just to stab the ball away right there. Well, yes, Rankin missed the first touch. It was a good ball played through by Nicholas Hamilton.
There was also Marsh closing in as well, but the ball just squeezing ahead of them both. But Howell showing a lot of awareness there, coming back to help his defenders out. There's Akeem Chambers. Simpson's attempted clearance blocked by Irving.
Yeah, I was making the point about how low-octane Cavalier start is. It's almost as if they're trying to pace themselves from very early, Lance, to ensure that they last at the 90.
Stewart goes all the way back to Finlayson. Another big, strong goalkeeper, Akeem Chambers. Forceful pass attempted downfield by Simpson, cut off.
Handball. Notwithstanding the quality of certain individuals on this Waterhouse team, as we see Stephen Williams there, what is true is that Tremaine Stewart makes them tick, Lance.
Yeah.
When he has a good game, Waterhouse usually win.
Yeah, that's for sure. Very, very skillful player, good ball handler, good vision too, very good passer of the ball. Very tricky with the ball at his feet as well.
Not to mention his prowess from set pieces.
Yeah. Irvin doesn't get by Denilson Simpson.
I think we need to do the calculations, Lance, to just remind the viewers how many of those free kicks Tremaine Stewart had on target last season. Not talking about how many he scored, but how many he forced the goalkeeper to have to make a save. 2. And that's very good.
Yeah. Had some early season injuries and hasn't been playing a lot so far this season. Hasn't scored a goal yet this season for Waterhouse, Tremaine Stewart, and he was their leading scorer last year, so that should tell a story. The top scorer from last year hasn't opened his scoring yet, and Waterhouse are the leading scoring team in the league by far.
Wow.
Wow, Irving very, very brave there with a dribble through defenders. Appeared to be hooked there as he tried to go through. Referee O'Shea Nation saw nothing wrong on the play.
I'd like to see that again. Looked as if he got an arm in the face.
I thought so.
Something that a wide receiver would get, yes.
Yeah. He was pretty brave, though, to take the ball through the cluster of big Waterhouse men, and the biggest of them all, Sean Law, stopped him.
Yeah, there's blood on Leonard Rankin's elbow, and it has to be seen to. He has to leave the field. Happened when he fell in the penalty box trying to get onto the end of Nicholas Hamilton's pass.
Yes, that a few minutes ago. Cavalier, for the moment, down to 10 men.
We're almost 12 minutes deep. To this point, Ricardo Thomas, the marauding left back for Waterhouse, he hasn't passed the halfway line yet, Lance. He stayed at home. You know why? Because Messi Marsh is on his side of the field, and he has to ensure that he doesn't give up any ground if Cavalier are transitioning at pace. So very conservative start from the flank defenders from Waterhouse so far, who are usually very much in attack, supporting their forward players. That's Thomas. Goalkeeper down.
Yeah, referee Shane Thomas spots Mark Brown, the Cavalier goalkeeper, down in his box.
This is troubling though, Lance, because he hasn't been in the action at all.
Yeah.
So when would he have injured himself?
I'm not too sure, but I seem to remember a couple of fixtures last year when he went down a few times as well.
Oh yes, I can remember one at Arnett Gardens.
Yeah, so there is some issue there with him. St. Michael Edwards is the reserve goalkeeper for Cavalier, so he may want to get himself warm.
I don't see him limbering up just yet, so it appears as if they're confident that Brian will be fine.
Yeah, not too sure what happened there with him. Wow.
You see that hairstyle? That orange hair?
Yeah.
That's for you. She said she did it for you.
I wonder why.
I'm not asking her that.
So the game is about to restart.
How does he do it though? Drop ball, or he gives the possession to Waterhouse, who had the ball?
Wow. And look who's in the house. The world 100-meter champion, Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce. This is her home community, Waterhouse, and she's supporting the boys. Simpson wide. Oh, good cross inside, but everyone missed it. Thomas retrieves on the flank. Williams with a cross inside, but harmless. Brian is right on the near post to take it.
2 chances for Waterhouse from that one cross, and amazingly, neither man even got a touch.
And the defenders missed it as well. So
oh yes.
Everyone failed on the cross. Half-time we'll probably try to arrange a 50-meter celebrity sprint between Shelly Ann Fraser-Pryce and George Davis, who fancies himself as a top sprinter.
Oh my.
George, so I lost at words. Can't believe it.
No, I'm not. I'm just thinking I'm going to be leading Shelly after 15 meters. For sure. I can make no promises thereafter.
There's Williams, leading goal scorer in the league at the moment with his 5 goals. Waterhouse boasting several of the leading scorers in the league at the moment. Kenroy Howell has 4. 3 goals each for Keith Simpson and Colorado Murray. He's had very little time on the ball so far tonight. There he's trying to go through there, but the ball didn't arrive for him. Orlando Brown, the right midfielder for Cavalier, on the ball now, former Jamaica College Manning Cup winner. Marshall looking to slip Hamilton in, but Hamilton didn't read the play.
Again on his haunches, Nicholas Hamilton. Not sharp so far from the Cavalier man.
Oh, does appear to be carrying a few extra pounds, Nicholas Hamilton.
Oh yes, I was just about to remark about that.
Yeah, he looked a lot lighter last year and the year before. Oh, brilliant skill by Fletcher, brought down. Free kick.
Yellow card for sure.
Oh, that was tremendous skill there by Andre Fletcher. Turning Kamoy Simpson, but the big man would have none of it.
Oh, Shane Nation hasn't produced the card. Look at this. Squares up Kamoy Simpson. He will.
Good skill.
That's a yellow card, ref.
Yeah. Yeah, he didn't get close to the ball at all. Fletcher had clearly gotten away from him. Good skill there by young Fletcher. A huge fan of Neymar, the Brazilian star, Andre Fletcher. And he displayed some silky skills just then. Opportunity here for Waterhouse. 4 players hovering about the 6-yard box. And another at the top of the 18. No one gets a proper handle on the ball. Diving in on the near post, Mark Bryan.
You know, Cavalier having the better of the exchanges so far, Lance, at 18 minutes. I'm surprised that I don't like where Tremaine Stewart is working for Waterhouse. He's too deep. Where he's getting possession, that ought to be Keith Simpson working the ball from there, just inside the center circle in the Waterhouse half. Then Tremaine Stewart should take charge in the Cavalier half. That's where he's most dangerous. But he's playing so deep, almost as if he's playing on Simpson's laces. So that doesn't help at all the Waterhouse thrust. So this man needs to be a little bit further up the pitch for my liking to do his damage. But you understand what I'm saying, Lance?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely a more potent position for Waterhouse when Tremaine Stewart is prompting the attacking plays and forcing himself into the attacking third. Both with his passing and shooting ability. Cavalier looking smart. Whistle. Shea Nation is unhappy about something. He pulls the yellow card out.
Oh yes, a little bit of afters. Yes, Nikolai Finlayson. You know what? That's frustration because he felt that he got some late tackles from the Cavalier boys and the referee didn't intervene. And so he had a little kick out earlier. And O'Shea Nation is saying, well, that's unsporting, that's aggressive. And he's produced the yellow card for that, even though the infringement was against Waterhouse in the box. Look at this.
Yeah.
And then the kick out comes there. Yeah.
Yeah, so the free kick is for Waterhouse, but the action of Finlayson punished by referee O'Shea Nation.
Still upset because Gadil Irving, he felt, kicked him when the ball had gone and the referee did nothing. And he carried that frustration through to that point where he got a yellow card.
Nation, one of the island's FIFA referees, his last international assignment would have been earlier on this month in a CONCACAF Nations League match between St. Martin and the Cayman Islands. Murray forcing himself forward here and almost slips him. But Brian is alert. Murray appears to be been knocked in the face there. And he's suffering some discomfort at the moment.
You know, the goals he scored last season, Lance, the reason I rate them so highly, he scored a lot of goals in a poor Tivoli team, we must not forget. Colorado Murray.
Yeah. And they didn't make the playoffs, so players like Tremaine Stewart and Javon East, who played right down to the very end because they both contested the finals for Waterhouse and Portmore, still weren't able to get by his 12 goals.
Yep. And consider that Colorado Murray scored so many goals without the Tivoli talisman Jermaine Teddy Johnson being available for much of the game, so he didn't have that ready supply.
Yes. So the number 22 for Waterhouse trying to make a mark on this game here tonight. Hamilton. Fine strike there by Irving. And Waterhouse's defenders tidy up some clumsy work by Akeem Chambers.
Excellent by Cavalier, who are dominating this game now. Excellent decision by Hamilton to ignore the two passes to his right and play it into the space to Irving overlapping on his left. Waterhouse need a rejig, Lance.
Yeah.
They're not at it completely. Look at this. Ignore those two passes. The first time shot, goalkeeper saw it all the way, but not too smart in his handling. Bailed out by his defenders.
Yeah. Good that the defenders were right there to tidy up. Was hit with a lot of power. So I think his first inability to take it cleanly could have been forgiven. But the second time he probably should have held on. Good skill here by Marsh. But finds the cluster of Waterhouse defenders impenetrable on that play halfway through the first half.
Yeah. With all speed, I'm sure they're really happy with how his team have approached this first half. Marcel Gill maybe wondering why his boys are so subdued. It starts in the midfield, I would suggest.
It's Raheem. The pass just knocking that one away. Get some regular playing time now in the Cavaliers setup. Of course, they lost one of their premier defenders last season, Jamoy Topi. Threatening cross. Brian holds it well. Topi now plays in the USL Pro League for Bethlehem Steel after a solid start to the Premier League season last year for the Cavalier team. Waterhouse having more time on the ball here, 52% possession.
the most obvious measure of how Cavalier are dominating this game. Their two flank defenders, the right back and the full back, have been very much a part of the action.
Fletcher can't get to that one in time.
Yeah. So I'm saying Gadale Irving and Orlando Brown have been in the thick of things throughout, attacking. Even Irving just had a shot on target. Meanwhile, the Waterhouse fullbacks have barely passed the half line. And they're the home team. So they're being dictated to by the visitors' line, so they're home patch.
Yeah. Worrying signs here for coach Marcel Gale. And his team top of the league table at the moment. Pre-game, we heard Damian Gordon talking about the form of the team, and the question has to be asked, George, about sustaining this kind of form for the entire season, because they would have peaked earlier because of their CONCACAF Champions League outings in August and September. But the challenge for them is to ensure that when we get to the third round of the Premier League, they'll be as good as they are now.
Yeah, it will catch up at some point for sure.
Simpson knocked over.
Excellent defensive work from the captain, though. Helping out his defenders and feeling the pain for it.
Marshall went for ball there, but made illegal contact. And after 25 minutes, it's Cavalier that have looked more threatening here against the home team. Ricardo Thomas in the left full-back position for Waterhouse was part of the unsuccessful Jamaica Olympic qualifying campaign this past summer, and they were eliminated in group play by St. Kitts and Nevis, who were eventually toppled in the CFU finals by Haiti. So approaching the half-hour mark, nothing earth-shattering to report on this fixture so far, but it's been tense.
Yeah. I would expect Waterhouse to finish this game stronger because they're the fitter team. But so far, they've been second best. Cavalier, though, must make their relative control of the game show. They have to score now.
Apart from the points table, heavily favouring Waterhouse in this fixture, there are a couple of other statistical trends as Howell goes for the left-footed strike from distance. Supporting a Waterhouse win, one of that is their impressive home record. They've won all 4 of their home games so far this season, this Waterhouse team. Cavalier on the road haven't been good. They have lost 3 of their 4 away games, Cavalier. So from those stats, you would fancy Waterhouse as well, but certainly from the first 27 minutes that we've seen of this game, Cavalier are not looking inferior in any way.
Not at all.
Fletcher's pass cut off by Simpson. Marsh to Brown. Good work by Hakeem Chambers, because there was Hamilton prowling there with an opportunity if it did emerge.
And again, a Cavalier fullback getting involved, starting that play.
Brilliant defensive work there from Kamoy Simpson, just taking it on the chest comfortably, and then the delivery was excellent.
A chest like a bucket of sand, Lance.
Yeah, real excellent work, and there were players around him, so he needed to be precise with the play. It certainly makes a huge difference. It was part of the reason why Cavalier's defense line was so solid last year, Kamoy Simpson.
All right, chalk it, Lance. The 29th minute, the first time Waterhouse's left back overlapped. Ricardo Thomas.
And he's a player who is given to overlapping a lot. Space here for Marshall. Oh, brilliant skill by Marshall. His not so favored right foot shot, though, blocked. Simpson gets the header out, and then Laws gets it further away. But the Waterhouse defense having to work a lot harder in this game so far than the Cavalier defense. Laws taking no prisoners.
Mean figure.
Got on the score sheet recently, Sean Laws. Don't see him score too many goals, but he had a headed goal against Arnett Gardens a couple of weeks ago. Big Laws.
And don't forget, lads, he first came to the Premier League as a Cavalier player.
That's right. And also played with Barbican and Reno. So well travelled, even though he is still a young man, 26 years old. Whistle, and there's an injury.
Yeah, back, the landing, and he produces a card, he will. And big Depaz, the centre half for Cavalier, goes into the book.
Chris Chambers going for that there. Oh,
Keith Simpson nailed.
Depaz crashes heavily into the back of Keith Simpson. And the Waterhouse captain is in a lot of pain.
Yeah.
Simpson, vastly experienced player, did play Premier League football before for Portmore and Tivoli. Also spent some time in Trinidad and Tobago, where he played with San Juan Jablate, Northeast Stars, and also spent some time at Club Sando. So wore 3 different colours in the TNT Pro League as it was then.
Yeah, for my money, Lance, he was the best defensive midfielder in the Premier League last year. He really was outstanding for Waterhouse. The rock on which their run to the final was built, Keith Simpson. Others did the creative, the fancy stuff. Tremaine Stewart scoring the free kicks and the pretty goals. But Keith Simpson was the man who every evening did the dirty work. As the former Manchester United legend, well, the legendary former Manchester United player Eric Cantona said of Didier Deschamps, the captain of the 98 France World Cup winning team, Lance, he said that Deschamps was the piano carrier. Pianos are heavy. Keith Simpson, the piano carrier on this Waterhouse team.
Very solid player, Keith Simpson, vastly experienced. There's no level of domestic football in Jamaica that would faze him.
I often wonder why calls like these are fouls. If you look at the replay, Marsh went with his head. I can't imagine him trying to injure Ricardo Thomas with his head. And I don't know. Oh, it was a foot. There you go. That's a foul.
Oh yeah.
But did he catch him all the way to the top of his head? He held the top of his head. He bought a foul. Okay, yeah. He bought a foul.
Howell. Stewart. Almost lost it. Whistle.
Yeah, but I don't mind that. That's where I want to see Tremaine Stewart working if I'm a Waterhouse fan. Right there, that's his position on the field.
Yeah.
He can do anything. He can shoot from distance, look left or right for a pass. But very well shackled here, very well marshaled here by a very, very good player, Purcell.
Yeah, a bit of an elbow there from Tremaine Stewart. And referee O'Shane Nation was close enough to the play to spot it. Just had a quick word there with Tremaine Stewart. Thomas just shadowing there and allowing his goalkeeper Chambers to retreat, because there was Orlando Brown with a lot of pace coming through on the right flank.
Very impressive how Cavalier have pushed back the Waterhouse fullbacks and making that point again as I see it unfold.
Again, Keith Simpson goes down, and Jamar Purcell, the guilty man.
Yeah, that's the lady of the piano dropping on Keith Simpson's back.
Alex Marshall, a real peacemaker. Yeah, a bit of a shove there into the back of Keith Simpson. Here comes Thomas. Stewart strikes from distance. Drags it wide.
Again, though, that's his spot. That's where I want to see him getting possession. Has the ability to score from there. We've seen goals from him from that distance in the past.
Yeah, and he was unchallenged. So that was an inviting position for him to strike.
Yeah, it makes no sense for Tremaine Stewart to be winning the ball, tackling for the ball in the center circle, in his own half. He's wasted here. That's Keith Simpson's terrain. Get out of that zone, get further forward, bring your team forward.
Howell, Thomas. They're looking for Murray but can't find him. Simpson. Finlayson. Stewart. Searching for passes. Doesn't like the ones ahead of him. So he goes back to Finlayson. Howell. Simpson. That's Denilson Simpson. His cross is poor, and Cavalier are in transition. This is what they like, Cavalier. Marsh. Orlando Brown's first touch is poor, and he gives up the ball cheaply. Murray hasn't seen a lot of time on the ball. Murray. Wow, that's an innocuous pass across the center circle.
Steve Williams made him spirit his blushes by retrieving that. It was an errant pass.
Simpson, his pass cut off. Murray to Keith Simpson.
Crowd getting impatient.
Yeah. And they've had a lot to smile about so far this season, the Waterhouse supporters. They were on a 7-game unbeaten run until their last fixture when they lost 3-1 to Mount Pleasant.
And he's tired of Jamara Purcell, it would seem, O'Shane Nation.
Purcell looks genuinely concerned at the call against him. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah. If you've been warned by the referee and then you do that, you're going to get a card.
Fletcher has switched sides. He has now come over to the left, and he's won himself a throw here for the Waterhouse team. Just over 7 minutes to the halftime break. Tremaine Stewart. Howell. Denilson Simpson. Forced to take the ball back. Cavaliers defenders are covering well. Kamoy Simpson easily takes care of the Colorado Murray advance, and he's having a miserable night tonight, Colorado Murray. He's accustomed to scoring goals, but he isn't getting the service tonight to provide him with opportunities.
No, and then Waterhouse have pushed up Denilson Simpson on the right-hand side, trying to get behind the Cavalier defense from that flank, trying to get the ball into Colorado Murray. Hasn't worked so far.
Simpson has a quick glance behind him, see how much time he has. Good football there by Marshall. Marsh. Does too much and loses the ball. But Waterhouse are still backed up in their defensive third. Irvin gets a challenge from Simpson. He won't like much what he's seeing.
Kenroy Howell has been a tad disappointing for me. The Waterhouse number 10. It's funny, you often accuse players of dribbling too much. Kenroy Howell is a player I don't think dribbles enough, given his ability with the ball at his feet on the run.
Yeah, he's a huge fan of Lionel Messi, and if he takes a leaf out of Messi's book, he'll do a lot more, George, of what you want him to do.
Yeah, the follow-through catching Leonard Rankin just now. And he's appealing to Shane Nation, saying that's a bookable offense. Hard tackle, all ball caught, but then the follow-through was an aggressive tackle, to be fair. And the stud's raking along his shin and causing him some pain.
Evidence here that both teams are a little annoyed with referee O'Shane Nation, which in some quarters would suggest that the referee is doing a good job.
Oh yes, this is the tackle at war. Bang on the shin guard. Still hurts.
Yeah, it's the follow through there from Denilson Simpson. One of 3 Simpsons on the field, 2 on the Cavalier roster. Well, 1 on the Cavalier roster, Kamoy Simpson, and 2 on the Waterhouse roster.
And we can report that they aren't related.
Yeah. Keith Simpson and Denilson Simpson. Wonder who she's cheering for tonight.
Maybe me.
Oh.
Or Donald Oliver.
There's Ricardo Thomas. Not up to this point having the kind of energetic game that we're accustomed to seeing from him.
Yeah. He's playing right down below our commentary position. That ball was intended for him. And he's been trying to get forward more, but he's not been picked out. Here comes the counter-attack.
Yeah, Marsh has some room here, but 2 Waterhouse players converge on him. Howell on the counter-attack.
Finally, Lance, the home team seem to be warming to the task. They've just been the more dominant team in the past 3 to 5 minutes.
Thomas. Fletcher knocked over by DePaz. From behind, free kick, I think, to Waterhouse.
Excellent by Fletcher. The first touch wasn't good. Went high to collect that ball, the chest trap, but still managed to get his body between the defender and the ball. And that's how he won the free kick.
Yeah. He knew where the defender was and just placed himself there. Good, brave work there by young Fletcher. Former Dinthill technical standout. 11 goals for Dinthill in his last Da Costa Cup season back in